no, stop. Don't keep drinking that.
I'm fine. I swear I'm fine. Justin here. So today I'm going to the AMC at Disney Springs in Lake Buena Vista, Florida to go see Inside Out 2. This movie is a continuation of Disney and Pixar's Inside Out from 2015. This is directed by Kelsey Mann and stars Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, Louis Black, Tony Hale, Lizzie Lapira, Maya Hawke, Ayo Edebiri, Adele Exarchopoulos, Walter Hauser, Kensington Tallman, Diane Lane, and Kyle MacLachlan. I would have never expected to hear Joji and Duncan. I think it's funny that I'm actually seeing Inside Out 2 as immediately as I can, because when the first one came out back in 2015, it actually took me like a year or two to finally watch it, because when I was going through puberty myself, it was a very uncomfortable experience, and then I viewed most Disney animated movies as like, oh, those are for children. But now I feel like I've changed my tune since then, where I'm like, yeah, of course I'm gonna watch Disney movies, because one, I work at Disney and I love animated movies. They're so cute. I also just had somebody in a golf cart almost run me over. That's fun. This is a very interesting way to market a movie. I don't even know what's in these. You know, this is probably the closest I have ever gotten to Hugh Jackman. What's up?
Options for everyone. If you're not a member, join Insider.
Well, the movie's over now. I'll get into further details. I swear, it's like every time I leave a movie theater, it's raining. Like, just every single time. Alright, so it's been storming a little bit, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this all in one go, but I'm going to start the review here. And also, this is a first because I'm actually standing up while doing it, because I wanted to do this review while I was still here in Disney Springs. Also, spoiler alert. Alright, Inside Out 2. So, after she turns 13, Riley is beginning to navigate more complicated emotions that she's getting. She attends a hockey camp with two friends of hers, Bree and Grace, and learns that they're going to be attending a different high school. Meanwhile, at headquarters, where the emotions of joy, sadness, fear, and disgust are living, they become startled by the sudden transformation brought on by puberty. And then new emotions come to greet them, such as anxiety, envy, ennui, which in French means boredom, and embarrassment. Anxiety is determined to overtake Riley's mind in what she describes as planning for the future, but doesn't realize that she's causing harm to Riley's sense of self, which in the movie is kind of literalized as this like glowing string of lights that kind of looks like a ball. So as the hockey camp begins, Riley meets a high schooler named Valerie. Within this span, Riley's experiencing all the new emotions that she's gotten, and abandons her old friends with the anxiety of trying to find new friends for high school. This causes a major drift between two friends that she's had versus everybody else that she's trying to become friends with now. Crap, lost it. And then anxiety feels like it's best to chuck the older emotions out in order to make room for the newer emotions to do their thing. And then the older emotions get transported to the vault. Eventually, Joy finds a way out of it, to find a way back to headquarters through this tube that she made to chuck all of the, what's the word? To chuck away the memories that they didn't want to keep. But the path to get there is difficult, and Joy convinces Sadness to go back up through a tube so she can report on what's going on at headquarters. Joy has continued determination to try and get to the back of Riley's mind. And then meanwhile, this is happening. Anger, disgust, and fear are getting increasingly concerned about the conclusion of this plan. And then Joy eventually becomes irritated because they all call her delusional. Or at least just anger does. With the other emotions in charge, Riley's behavior becomes a lot more complicated, where her efforts to find the new friends, as said before, are ruining her current friendships. Anxiety and envy are pretty much running everything by this point, causing Riley to develop a lot more negative feelings this time around. In a notebook kept by the coach about information about all the players for the hockey camp, Riley discovers that and has a lot of complicated feelings about, like, I really want to see what's in here, but I don't want to screw up my chances. And sadness returns to headquarters, so to help Riley give like a second thoughts on the decision before she actually goes through with it. But then anxiety just takes in full force, and then they discover actually that Riley wasn't ready yet, and all of the efforts that anxiety and envy had were pretty much not helping her situation. Then Riley begins to go into overdrive to kind of compensate for all of the emotions that she was feeling. Eventually, the older emotions make their way back to headquarters through the back of Riley's mind. Joy gets the old sense of self, and with the help of a character named Pouchy, water break. Then with the help of a character named Pouchy, then they just get all these random sticks of dynamite so they can blow up the back of Riley's mind. So all of the memories that were thrown to the back of the mind are just going to come flooding back. Now we get to the scrimmage of the hockey camp. While Riley is playing in this scrimmage, her new sense of self is almost fully developed, and it's revealed that she has all these negative emotions where she feels like she's not good enough. And then anxiety becomes a lot more intense with her output and seems to be causing so much harm that she's not even recognizing, like, it's actually starting to affect other people in Riley's life now. And unfortunately, one of Riley's friends gets hurt during the game because of how laser focused Riley was during the game. The older emotions return, and Riley's positive sense of self was tried to be put back into the little machine, but the efforts weren't successful because now with the anxious sense of self, the positive sense of self wasn't enough to like change things around, but instead a sense of self with all the other emotions starts to come through, which then helps joy and anxiety kind of like come to this agreement where it's okay to feel the anxiety, but also still find the joy in something. And from all of this, Riley experienced an anxiety attack, but then with all the other emotions kind of working together, everything seemed to keep moving forward. That's the best way I can describe it. What the heck is everything else in this? So the notes in my Apple Watch ran out, so I guess I'm improvising the rest of this. So then by the end of the movie, it shows like what the result was of Riley's friendship with the girls who don't go to the same high school anymore, and the new friendships. And then the movie just ends on Riley finding out what happened after the hockey camp, and we don't get to know that. So that's Inside Out 2. So there was an after credit scene where Joy, who met a character who's supposed to be Riley's deepest secret, is trying to come out of the vault, but then Joy embarrasses him, and then he just goes right back in. So I would say, like, my only criticism about this movie is it didn't spend much time focusing on the emotions of other people that were in this. Like, you have the mom character and then the dad. It did show a little bit of Brie and Grace's inner emotions, but it didn't focus on them for too long. And then everybody else didn't really seem to be cared about too much. And also, the characters for Envy and Ennui never really were focused on that much. They were just kind of there for the most part. Although Envy did contribute a lot within this movie, it didn't seem like her character specifically got that much attention, and I would have liked to see more. But, you know, if there's an Inside Out 3 that comes out at some point, then I feel like it'll work. I'm recording a movie review.
I know, it's great. I love it. I know, but sorry, just don't make the trash here.
I know. Looks a little crazy. Thank you. And this is why I don't do this stuff in public often. So I feel like the major takeaway from this... There's always something happening here. The major takeaway from this movie is understanding that change is necessary, but also kind of uncomfortable and awkward. But it's still needed. But as long as you don't lose your sense of self, I feel like all this change it's for the better. And with that, I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. I feel like there's definitely things that it could have improved on, but at the same time, like, the first Inside Out movie was, like, at least in my personal opinion, like, almost everything went right with that movie. So I feel like it was a lot more comprehensive. This one seemed to not have that same focus, but I respect this movie for what it is. So, yeah, that's all I got. It's also funny seeing all the people that have been walking back and forth past this trash can that I have my phone on. And everyone's just kind of looking at me like I'm crazy. But you know what? I don't care. If I were to do the same thing, say maybe like 5-6 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been as comfortable doing this. But now I really don't care. That's the end of this recap and review. So if you want to check out more content like this, you can subscribe to my channel, JSheaMedia, and you can follow my socials too, so you can keep updated, so you can stay updated on all the other content that I have coming out. But with that being said, thanks for watching.